Hi, Coach Ring. I'm Rebecca Jones, and I have a question for you about your senior leaders. What are your expectations for them? I know you have Kyle Turner, Curtis Yurchak, and Ray Holden this year. And how do you expect them to lead both on and off the court? And as a follow-up to that, how does their leadership affect the team as a whole and the atmosphere in your locker room?
Yeah, that's a great question. This is our first year to have four-year seniors. So we have two young men that have been through our program now. This is going on year 4. And I think that's very important because they understand us a whole lot better than when we first started. And we understand them a whole lot better than when they first started. So there's a trust level there that I think is a lot higher because I think they trust us, we trust them, and so we give them a little bit more freedom. We have, I challenged, we have two other seniors who aren't four-year seniors, and that's Noah Smith and Curtis Yurchak. And my challenge to them is to be great leaders. While they're not captains, they don't have that title, they can be great leaders in our program. So it's, you ask about on the court, in the locker room, off the court. We expect them to set the example. If they make a mistake, we expect them to man up and say, look, I was wrong there. I shouldn't have done that. They need to bring the team together when we're struggling. They need to maintain a locker room that is honoring to Christ. And then they need to, be the guy that can put their arm around a teammate who's struggling through a particular time. Maybe it's a class they're struggling with. They can help them, find them somebody to help them. Or if it's just a personal time in their life, that they need somebody to listen to. And that's a big role that they have. So really excited about this group of captains and leaders and expect great things from them this year.
Hey, Coach, I'm Seth. I just had a quick question on your training. I was wondering, what's the philosophy behind the Bruins boot camp?
Well, since I had to go through boot camp as a Marine, I felt like everybody else should get that joy. No, just kidding. Actually, it's about overcoming obstacles, Seth. Honestly, you can go to a bench, and if you can't lift the weight that's on the bench, you just take a little bit off, and then you can achieve that, that bench press. We try to throw things at them that they just can't take a little bit off. They actually have to persevere. And honestly, the goal is for them to fail individually, but succeed as a group and as a team. And so we try to use it as an opportunity for them to learn that it's not about their own individuality. It's about them taking the skills that God is giving them and persevering together. And through that, then we're using terminology like being a champion today and winning this day. And it's easier to win it. I think the biblical model of, two are better than one, the biblical model there, we're trying to just use that and say, hey, together as a team, we can accomplish a lot of great things.
Hi, Coach. This is Chris. I saw that y'all be going to Puerto Rico. Kind of what some opportunities? I know just you be playing basketball, but any other stuff that y'all be doing there as well?
Yeah, this is an opportunity for us. We've been, as a lot of teams do in college basketball, they play, they play guarantee games where we go and play Division I teams or high-level Division II teams, and they provide us guarantee money. And so we've been accumulating that over our 4 years of existence so that we can take a trip like this. And so it's about team experience for one. It's a great recruiting tool when you tell young men that, hey, we're going to take a trip like this. That's a positive for them. It's about a team togetherness, taking an international trip, although Puerto Rico is not that far, but it is out of the continental United States. It's about playing basketball against different teams in a different culture. And for us, ultimately, it's also about our motto of living Christ, and we're going to be ministering in a local church, on that Sunday and spending some time trying to have an impact for Christ there on the island of Puerto Rico. We'll take some tours and, see the sites and that, that's available to us through the touring company that we're going with. But, basketball is big. We're going down there to play 2 games. But most importantly, we're going down there to represent Christ. And, there's potential for students, to come to Bob Jones from Puerto Rico, and maybe we'll have an impact in in helping people to make that decision. So there's a lot of things tied up in it, but ultimately it's a great opportunity for all of us to go take a little bit of our Christmas break, play some basketball, minister for Christ, and hopefully have a lifetime experience.
Hey, Coach, this has been, for a team in your fourth year, what are some realistic expectations?
I'm sorry.
Some realistic expectations.
Okay. Yeah, that's a great question, Ben. We are coming off a season where we won our first postseason game, and at times played pretty competitively with some of the top teams in the region, but just didn't have enough to consistently compete at that high level against the Emmanuels and the North Greenvilles. So I think for us this year, it's just about building on that postseason experience. We got that win. I'd love to advance, beyond that. With the talent level that God has given us, with the depth of roster that we have, I think that we're going to be competitive in most of the games we play. And so I think, as we go through the season, I think that our expectations will be to compete well, to come out with a good record as far as wins and losses, and it's kind of an exciting place to sit in year 4. We have a lot of experienced players. We're still pretty young though. We have a lot of sophomores and freshmen who are going to have some, contribution. But we do have that upperclassman leadership and ability that we're going to be leaning on. So overall, I think a competitive year. I think, we should be over 500 this year again as a program. I think we should challenge, to get into that second round of the region and beyond. It's just going to depend on, do we stay healthy? Do we play together? Do we do the things we need to do off the court to be eligible? All of those things. So overall, I think it's we're very optimistic about our opportunities and potential this year.
Hey, Coach, Matt Dehart. You have 2 exhibition games coming up tomorrow night and next Thursday night. What are some things that you're trying to accomplish as a team in these exhibition games?
Yeah, exhibition games are, they're great for the opportunity to just stop competing against each other. I think that's where we are right now in our practice is, we're tired of going against the guys that we've been going against for the past month. So it's a great opportunity to go against another team. It's a chance for us as coaches to kind of kick the tires a little bit, mess around with some lineups, look for combinations that work, maybe things that we thought worked and looked good on paper and maybe were working in practice. We play somebody else and it's just not quite what we were expecting. It's a chance for us to, to get our freshmen and new players an opportunity to just get out there and, and break a sweat and get a little nervous and hopefully, overcome that. This particular team this year, we played them first last year and had a great experience. Our freshmen went out there and played like, they'd been out there for years. And so we're hoping to have the same kind of response this year. As far as technically and tactically, we're obviously not going to be opening up everything that we do. We're basically going to stay very basic and just give ourselves a chance to get some film against two very, very strong athletic programs in Salkehatchie and Southern Wesleyan. And, they're well coached and they're going to have great athletes. And so it's going to really test us. Ultimately, at the end of the day, we want to come out with our health. We want to come out having learned about ourselves. We want to see what's working, and then obviously if there's something that we just go, that's probably not going to work for this group, then I think it'll be success in our preseason.
Hey, Coach. My name is Steven. How will the addition of new players to the roster affect your style of play or tempo compared to last year?
Yeah, well, that's a great question and a good observation. We have a very strong Midwest coaching philosophy in myself and my lead assistant, Coach Wingreen. And, the Midwest is a lot about half-court basketball, be great in execution, be great in defense, kind of that Wisconsin mentality, not really flashy, but just be great at what you do. So we don't want to lose, that desire to be great, but in the half court, on both sides of the ball. But honestly, we have 15 players that are vying for different spots, on the depth chart. And one way to play more players is to play faster. And so our intention is to really get up and down the floor and try to make it a war of attrition. We have some depth that we just have never had before, and can really get some combinations that I think will be exciting to watch. And one of our goals as a program, as a team, as coaches, is to, we're going to figure out who those 5 guys are that need to be on the floor in crunch time. But there's a lot of guys that will be out there before crunch time and having a part of giving us, the success that we need. So I've always been kind of an 8 or 9 man rotation guy. I'm expecting to expand that significantly this year. And, we want to get it off the backboard or get it out of bounds after they score or turn it over and get it up the floor. And we're trying to teach our guys, take great shots, not good shots. We can get a good shot anytime. If that great shot presents itself, then you need to take it, because there's somebody over here that can come in and take that great shot, if you don't. So I feel really good about that. That's kind of the style I prefer. In my high school coaching days, I was more of an up-tempo transition coach. But being at Maranatha and then being here and, trying to build a program, just didn't have the players to do that. So you have to adjust to who you have. So I'm excited to see how we get up and down the floor this year. I think it'll be fun and exciting. And we got a lot of guys finishing above the rim, so there's a lot of chances to get some highlight plays. And but we still got to be great in half-court defense, and teams are going to make us play in the half court on offense, and so we're going to have to execute as well. But should see a lot of fast-paced, up-tempo basketball.
Hey, Coach, this is Travis. Thinking about more of the intangibles of the game as far as fan base goes. We have fan base here, and as I see on the schedule, you got an equal share in away and home games. How important is those home games for you as a team, and how does the student body affect play?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I wish we could play them all at home, but obviously that's not the way things work. Fan support is so important. Our student body can have a huge impact in the emotion of the game by just their presence, their cheering, their enthusiasm. There truly is something to be said for that sixth man, having an impact. And obviously here at the university, we're not about being aggressive against our opponent from the stands, but we want to be positive for our team. And make as much noise as we can, and there's nothing wrong with making it hard for the opponent because of the noise and the enthusiasm and the excitement, and our guys are going to feed off of that, and our style of play is going to. I hope that there's a lot of standing and cheering and excitement, because at any minute there could be a phenomenal play at the rim, both offensively or defensively. And so I hope that the student body will respond to that and come out and get excited, and grow the core. We have a good core of fans that come and get excited and have fun. And I hope that will grow, and we'll just keep building that. And, I hope that our guys will go out and play with, a passion and an enthusiasm that students will want to come and appreciate and enjoy. And it'll be one of those things where there'll be a lot of, hey, did you see that? Or, man, you don't want to miss that next game because so-and-so could do that again. And I think we have some exciting opportunities for students to come and take a break from the academic rigor and work and all the things that we all have to do, and just relax and have a great time and walk away with some pretty cool experiences.
Coach Ring, Connor Welby here. You mentioned a talented sophomore class that's returning this year. Some guys that got a lot of experience last year, like Dustin Killow, Marshall Riddle. What are some noticeable changes in development that you see in these players from year 1 to year 2?
Yeah, I think having won a game last year in the postseason and finishing the year well. I mean, we had 10 wins, and most of those were in the second half of the year, and guys really started clicking. I think they carried that enthusiasm into the summer. Physically, they're different. I mean, their bodies are different. They've really crafted their bodies. They're stronger. They're quicker. They're jumping higher. They're running farther, faster. It's just there's a distinct difference in their body as a freshman and their body coming in as a sophomore. They've also worked on their crafts. Their shooting, their defense. A lot of that is better because of their physical improvement. And it's not just that sophomore class that's done that. It's across the board with everybody came back. I think our boot camp was challenging, and we in a sense had to find ways to get more challenging because they were more prepared for the most part than they've been in the past. So I think it'll be noticeable. You'll see them moving faster. They're hitting screens harder. They're tougher to move defensively. I think you'll see that pretty evidently on the floor.
Hi, Coach Chris. I saw that you added Zac Mercado as one of your coaching staff. What do you think he will add to helping you guys out?
One of the things as a head coach, you always want to see players that played for you. You want to give them the greatest opportunity to succeed in life. And so to be able to bring Zac back, to give him a chance to be on the bench, if anybody knows what's going through the players' minds, he does, because he's been out there. He has the respect of the players on the team. He played with some of them. And I think it's when you have their respect, even though you played with them, that speaks highly of your character, and it speaks highly of your ability to lead. And so Zac adds a dimension of kind of that between coach and player. He adds that. He will give us a perspective that will help us as coaches communicate better. He will help us understand why maybe we're struggling with something when we don't understand why is that so hard. He'll give us that perspective that he's not too far removed from the court. And he was a good player. He's a smart player. And so from a coaching perspective, he will add to the things that we do because he'll see things from his perspective that maybe we don't see that will help us make adjustments, help us individually with a player, maybe make an adjustment with that player and what we're asking of them to do. So I love having players come back and work, in the program. I think that's important, and it's good for him because it will help him in his future as he gets to put on his resume he was a volunteer assistant in a collegiate program.
I'll go ahead and ask one, Coach. With the up-tempo style of play that you're hoping to run, what does that look like defensively? Are we going to be able to pressure more? Are we going to be able to still stick with that man-to-man, maybe go more press, that kind of thing? How does having high up-tempo players change on the defensive side?
Yeah, one of the things that we did this year that's I think is already paying great dividend is we kind of divided in an effort to conquer. And so I basically handed all the defensive responsibilities to Coach Wingreen, and I took all the offensive responsibilities. It's not that we don't interact on those. It's not like football where you got an offensive coordinator, defense coordinator. But Coach spent all of his time in the offseason, prepping defensively. I spent all of my time in the offseason prepping offensively. And so we've come in with a greater understanding and the depth and the details. We are both sold on the style of defense that we've played because it basically makes a team, you're just going to have to shoot the ball. We want to protect the lane. You're going to have to shoot the ball to beat us. You have to make shots. And there aren't a lot of teams that have consistent knockdown shooters. Most teams depend on paint penetration, dumping it down to a big off of a drive. There aren't a lot of teams that can go 3 or 4 guys on the perimeter that are just going to keep hitting shots. So we still want to keep that basic, principle of protect the lane, close out to the shot, but we are going to, to get up the floor a little bit more at times. Coach wants to put in a little bit of pressure as we go, but our focus in the preseason has been on making sure we're great in the half court. And I think with the athletes that we have and the depth that we have, we can be, because we're covering a lot more ground. We're a lot longer. One of the things, we've got guys that have long wingspans. We've got a guy that's 6'7", but he's got a 6'11" wingspan. That makes a difference on the floor. And you're better defensively just simply based on body type. So, we've got guys that can put pressure on the ball. Our point guard is great at getting into you and putting pressure on the ball. So, there's a lot of things we can do. We just want to we want to protect the lane and press, get up the floor a little bit on our terms, hopefully not because we have to try to get back in a game.
It's Ben again. You said you were in charge of the offensive end. In your 4th year now, again, what have you changed as you've gone along that you see helping you succeed this year?
We have, over the years, we started off because of our, our schedule and the teams we were playing. We were playing basically, I think this year, we're probably playing 85 to 90% scholarship teams. It maybe wasn't that high in years 1 and 2. Maybe it was closer to 75%. But most of the teams we play, these are guys that are scholarship players. So, we have gone from, okay, we want to maintain the tempo of the game, and if we shoot with 3 seconds left on the shot clock, we're okay with that. Let's move the ball. Let's make the team play defense. Let's not just come up and take a shot in the first 5 seconds of the shot clock. So as we've gone through the years, we found the things that have worked for us, and we found that we were pretty good at running sets. We would always run some motion style and then get to the end, run sets, and we'd score 45 to 50% of the time on those sets. So obviously as you do that, you start saying, okay, maybe we should run more sets. So basically what we've done is we've stayed with our motion principles. We still run, the read and react motion style offense, but we have a couple of sets that we really like that put our players in the right spots for them to be successful. And one of the things we're doing this year, we're at that point where we feel like we're ready to do more screening, cutting, and so we're adding that component where in the past we've really just been a one screener team where we have a post, screen, rescreen, that kind of thing. Where now we're actually setting screens on both sides of the floor, but we're doing it purposely with specific people in specific spots. So I'd say if we've done anything over the years, we've learned about the region and what works, and we're trying to now take that and put it into with the players that we have. But the reality is, we have players, if we can spread the floor and make teams defend, we have guys that can get to the rim. We have guys that can shoot, when the ball gets kicked out to them. And we have some play around the rim now that we haven't had in the past where we can actually finish above the rim, right at the rim. So I think it's going to be, you're going to see kind of a happy medium between the motion style. We want to, we've got a couple of secondary offensive sets, which, coming right out of running the floor. We want to get into that, and if we can get a great look there, we're going to do that, which is different for us. We've not been a shoot that great shot within 5 seconds. We've always said we can get that at some point in the shot clock. Well, we want the other team to run. We want them to work hard. so that we can keep coming in off the bench and kind of win that war of attrition.
Last call. All right, last one right here.
Hello, Coach Marco Sorio. We've talked about a lot of the positives and things that you're looking at, things that you're changing going into the season. What are some of your weaker areas that you can see that you're really trying to improve on the court?
Yeah, that's a good question. You know, we were talking today, you know, what do we want to get out of these scrimmages? And I think even though we have that you know, that group of seniors and those upperclassmen, we're still pretty young. So I think just game experience, I think we're going to get better every game because we just get that game experience. You know, I'll give you an example. We have a guy in Justin Matthews who has been in our program for a couple of years, you know, in second semesters, and hasn't been able to play, but's practice. Well, this is going to be his first time to play. A lot of great skill, but he's never played a college basketball game here. So, you know, as he gets time and play, he's going to get better. So I think just the experience factor is something that we're hoping will continue. You know, each game will get better. We're still, you know, we still want it to be about the 5 guys on the floor and not one individual. So we legitimately have players that have the ability to be great by themselves. But we're really trying to sell that great by yourself is okay maybe for a stretch or a game, but great as a team makes a season. And that's the message. So we're trying to just get guys to work together, teamwork, chemistry. The physical skills on the floor, I think we're pretty good at. I mean, we're going to get better. We're going to work at it. It's that chemistry, that trust one another. It's the ability to move on to the next play when you make a mistake. I believe the psychological aspects of the game are going to be the most important to overcome for us as a team. The physical aspects, I think God has blessed us with guys. And again, I'm not saying that we're going to go out there and be perfect, but we have guys that can make plays. It's just a matter of putting them in the right place at the right time, having them trust their teammates, and then just, you know, going through and making the play. So we're going to be a better rebounding team. You know, we got guys that can rebound out of area. You know, we've both basically been, if the ball comes to our area, we can get it. We've got guys now that can go get it in a different area of the floor if it bounces longer. You know, that's something we haven't had. We've got guys that can protect the rim. I mean, there's a lot of real positive things physically. I just think it's the off-court intangibles and the chemistry and all of that. You know, that's where we're the most concerned. We believe in our players. We believe that they'll make the adjustments and that they will trust and buy in to each other. But 18 to 22-year-olds, you just never know. And you know, if a girlfriend breaks up or a person gets a demerit, or, you know, you just never know what's going to impact once you get between the lines. And so we're trying to help them kind of, when they cross that line, block it out. So that would be the things that we're the most concerned about is really the psychological, the teamwork, the chemistry. Are we going to be able to figure that out? If we do, I think we got a chance to have a pretty special season.